Ever snapped a pic of your groceries for Instagram and wondered about the story behind them? Where they came from, how they got there.
Yeah, it's easy to forget about the whole system at play when you're just grabbing a bag of apples, right?
Totally. And that's exactly what today's deep dive is all about. We're looking at WTFood, this really cool digital art project that's like holding an X-ray up to your supermarket produce.
It's fascinating how they use AI, artificial intelligence, to expose the usually hidden systems behind our food choices. It's like a digital prototype for how we might navigate the supermarket in a completely different way.
I love that. A digital prototype. And get this, we're working with the creator, Bernat Cuní's website and his project documentation. Let me tell you, way more engaging than your average research paper.
It really is. It's designed more like a digital magazine, very visual and interactive.
Okay, so for our listeners, what's really unique about WTFood is that it encourages you to actively participate. You actually take a photo of like a fruit or a vegetable, and the project generates a story and even suggests some actions you can take, all based on your location too, which I find really interesting.
And that's what makes it so powerful. It's not just about passively reading information. It's about connecting with these issues on a personal level.
Okay, so I'm picturing myself in the produce aisle, phone out, totally about to Instagram this like suspiciously perfect avocado. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Those picture perfect ones, yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm about to post it, and then I remember WTFood. I snap a picture in the app, and then what happens?
Well, instead of applying like a filter, you get what Cooney calls a glitch. It's like a peek behind the curtain of that avocado's journey. You're not just seeing an avocado anymore. You're seeing the worker who picked it, the complex web of trade that brought it to your store, even the environmental impact of its journey from, like, farm to supermarket.
Okay, so it's like those Instagram versus reality posts, but instead of makeup, it's my groceries.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about revealing the not-so-pretty truth behind our food.
So these glitches, they expose the problems, but I imagine that could get overwhelming fast. How does WTFood keep it from feeling like, a lecture on global economics in the middle of my grocery shopping?
That's where the art part of this digital art project really shines through. Cooney uses AI to generate these really thought-provoking images and stories that, while they're engaging, they draw you in. It's not just data and statistics, it's about connecting with these issues in a way that resonates.
So it's art meets activism all through the lens of my smartphone. I'm intrigued, gotta be honest.
And that's just the beginning. What I find particularly interesting is how this project goes beyond just awareness. It actually aims to empower users to make a difference. But we'll talk more about that later.
All right, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. Let's unpack how WTFood moves from just revealing these glitches to actually prompting action after a quick break.
Okay, so we've been uncovering all these glitches, like behind the scenes of our supermarket produce.
Right, getting a glimpse of the whole system. Yeah, but how does WTFood actually, I don't know, help us fix things? Like, I can't exactly overhaul global trade while I'm picking out bell peppers.
And you don't have to. That's what I think is so clever about this project. Remember how it uses your location. It's not just about pointing out problems, it connects you with potential solutions.
Okay, so less doom scrolling about bananas, more doing something about the banana situation.
Exactly. Say you're, in Chicago and you scan that too perfect avocado.
The ones we were talking about.
Right. And WTFood is like, hey, did you know about the unfair labor practices in the avocado supply chain?
Okay, kind of heavy stuff for the produce aisle.
It is, but instead of leaving you with that, uneasy feeling, it's going to connect you with something.
Like a Chicago-based organization that's advocating for farm workers' rights.
Maybe even a petition you can sign right then and there, or a local rally you could go to.
So it's not just making me feel bad about my avocado toast. It's actually giving me a way to do something about it.
And it goes deeper than that, too. Remember how Cooney critiques capitalism as, like, a driving force behind a lot of these problems?
Yeah, he's not afraid to talk about the big systemic issues.
Nope. Which is why WTFood encourages users to check out, like, alternative economic models.
Okay, I'm interested. Give me an example.
So it might, for example, introduce you to the concept of community-supported agriculture, where you invest directly in a local farm.
So instead of just participating in the system, I'm actively supporting folks who are trying to make it better.
Yes. And that brings us to the digital prototype aspect of it all. Cooney's vision for WTFood is that it's always evolving, changing, as our understanding of these issues grows.
So he's built the framework, and it's up to, well, all of us to kind of fill it with stories and solutions and all of that.
And connections, which is where the collaborative map comes in.
Okay, hold on. We're finally talking about the map. I've been picturing, like, a world map with little avocado icons or
Oh,
something.
it's way cooler than avocado icons, trust me.
Okay, so it's not just avocado icons, is it? This map has got to be more exciting than that, right?
Way more. Okay, so imagine a world map, and every time someone, somewhere, uses the WT Food app to scan something, the map lights up.
Wait, so every time someone snaps a picture of like a pineapple in their kitchen, they're adding to this bigger picture.
Yes. Each scan is a data point, right? And it creates these really fascinating patterns. You might see, I don't know, a bunch of food waste glitches concentrated in like urban areas.
That makes sense.
Or you might see maybe a lot of water rights issues popping up in regions dealing with drought.
It's like suddenly you're seeing these invisible forces that are shaping our food system, but they're totally visible.
Exactly. And the coolest part, this map isn't just like a static image. You can interact with it.
Okay, so how does that work?
So you can zoom in on, wherever you live,
Yep.
right? See what's happening in your city, explore the different categories of glitches.
So if I'm like really concerned about, say, fair trade coffee, I can zero in on those glitches.
Exactly. You can see which organizations are working on those issues near you,
Mhm.
or even discover a new farmer's market.
Or connect with other WT food users who care about the same thing as I do. That's incredible.
It's taking something, I don't know, kind of mundane, like grocery shopping, and turning it into this journey of discovery.
And action, which is what we really want, right?
Definitely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into WT food, what's the one thing you really hope our listeners take away from this conversation?
I think it really comes down to remembering that we're not just passive consumers. Like, we actually have a lot of power to create change, to build a fairer and more sustainable food system.
And it starts with simply paying attention, right?
Yes, it starts with noticing those glitches,
Yeah.
getting curious about where our food comes from, and being open to, like, maybe doing things a bit differently.
So the next time you're, at the store, in the produce aisle, just remember that you have more power than you think.
Every choice we make, every dollar we spend, it all adds up.
So true. Okay, that's a great note to end on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Thank you for having me.
And to all our listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive.